Robert Collins sat at table 12 in the Cartwright, Manhattan's most exclusive steakhouse, where reservations move faster than currency trades. The second place setting remained untouched. His blind date, arranged by a colleague's wife, someone with excellent credentials, had never arrived. He checked his phone, markets closing strong, 3 positions liquidated at target. The missed date registered like any other data point, noted, categorized, filed. The server approached. "Should I remove the extra setting, Mr. Collins?" "Leave it." Robert ordered the ribeye, medium rare, no substitutions. 22 years of dining here, always the same table when available, always the same order. Efficiency through repetition. The restaurant hummed with deal-making. 2 tables over, a merger negotiation disguised as dinner. To his left, a managing director celebrating a fun close. Robert recognized the patterns, the careful toasts, the calculated laughter, the invisible lines of leverage being drawn across white tablecloths. His Tom Ford suit fit perfectly. His Patek Philippe caught the low lighting. His silence read, as intended, like authority. The ribeye arrived. He ate methodically, checking email between bites. A partnership proposal from Singapore, market analysis from his quant team, nothing requiring immediate response. The voice came from his right, soft but clear. "Your blind date didn't show up either?" Robert turned. The woman sitting alone, 1 table over, had been there when he arrived, he realized. Same situation, single diner, overdressed for solitude, phone checked periodically with practiced casualness. She looked about 40, maybe younger. Carefully chosen dress, not designer but deliberate. Hair pulled back simply, dark circles under her eyes, shoulders held tight. "No," Robert said. "Yours?" "Apparently not," she smiled slightly. "I've been sitting here for 45 minutes pretending to read the menu." "I ordered 20 minutes ago." More decisive than me." She glanced at her water glass, then back. "I'm Megan." "Robert." Neither spoke for a moment. The restaurant noise continued around them. "Well," Megan said, "at least we're failing together." Her phone buzzed. She looked down, her spine straightened. Her hand reached for her purse before she'd finished reading. "I'm sorry," she said, standing. "My son missed the last school bus. I need to go." She was already moving. No hesitation, no negotiation with herself. Robert called out, "Let me cover your—" "That's kind, but no." She didn't slow down. "Thank you, though." The server appeared beside Robert. "The woman asked for her check?" "Put it on mine." "Of course, Mr. Collins." Robert sat alone again. The second place setting at his table looked more accusatory than before. Megan returned briefly, grabbed her phone from the table, something forgotten in her rush, saw the paid receipt the server had placed there. She looked across at Robert. Not gratitude, not anger. Her mouth pressed into a line. Then she left again. Robert finished his dinner. The restaurant noise continued. Deals being struck, partnerships being formed, leverage being carefully redistributed. He walked past Megan's empty table. The server was clearing it. Half-finished water. Napkin folded once, then left. Outside, his car idled at the curb. The November air hit cold and clean. Robert slid into the back seat. Home. As the car pulled into traffic, he checked his phone again. Portfolio performance. Currency fluctuations. A text from his assistant about tomorrow's board meeting. The phone went dark in his hand. The car hummed. Traffic moved. His phone stayed dark. Nothing was wrong. Nothing was different. But something, he didn't have a word for it yet. 3 days passed. Robert closed a significant position in biotech. His fund returned 8% above benchmark. The partners' meeting went smoothly. His reputation intact. Unquestioned. Thursday evening, late, his assistant forwarded a newsletter from the Cartwright. New seasonal menu, private dining options. A small note at the bottom. Unclaimed items from recent evenings could be retrieved at the host stand. Robert deleted it, then pulled it back from trash. Friday morning, Robert found himself reviewing news about Staten Island public schools. Not strategic research, not investment analysis, just reading. Overcrowded classrooms, budget cuts. After-school programs being eliminated. Megan had said her son missed the bus. Connor, she'd said his name to someone on the phone as she rushed out. Connor, PS 47, Staten Island. Robert closed the tab. Open quarterly reports. The Singapore partnership proposal sat on his desk, unsigned. By Friday afternoon, Robert made a decision he didn't analyze first. He called his foundation director. "What education initiatives are we funding currently?" "Primarily scholarship programs for private schools. Some STEM lab equipment grants." "Why?" "I want to explore after-school programming. Public schools. Underserved areas." Silence on the line. "That's not our typical focus." "Make it our focus. Start with Staten Island. Get me a proposal by Monday." Robert ended the call before questions could form. Saturday, he attended a fundraiser in Greenwich, circulated appropriately. made the expected conversations. A woman approached, Claire something, venture capital, divorced twice. Robert, I heard the setup didn't work out. It didn't. Well, she touched his arm lightly. We should get coffee sometime. I'll have my assistant coordinate. He wouldn't. Sunday morning, Robert sat in his apartment, harbor view, floor-to-ceiling windows. Architectural Digest had photographed it last year. Empty was the more accurate word. His phone rang. Private number. Mr. Collins, this is Megan Doyle, from the restaurant. Robert stood without thinking. Yes, how did you... You paid my bill. The restaurant gave me your card when I went back. I wanted to... She paused. I wanted to say thank you properly. And I'm sorry for how that probably seemed. It seemed like you had somewhere to be. I did, but I should have handled it better. You handled it fine. Silence on the line, not empty, full of something neither acknowledged. The thing is, Megan said, I don't really accept things from people I don't know. It's just, it creates complications. I understand, but it was kind, so thank you. You're welcome. More silence. Well, Megan said finally, I should go. I just wanted to call. Megan. Robert surprised himself. Your son, is he all right? That night, with the bus. He's fine. I got there. It was just... She stopped. It was just one of those things. What school? PS 47, in Staten Island. Good school? It's what we have. No defensiveness, just fact. Robert nodded to his empty apartment. I run a foundation. We're looking at education programs. After school support, that area specifically. Silence. Different now. Careful. That's nice, Megan said. I'm sure they need it. Would you be willing to discuss what would actually help? Not from a policy perspective, from someone who sees it directly. Are you asking me to consult for your foundation? I'm asking your opinion. More silence. I work 2 jobs, Mr. Collins. I don't really have time for meetings. Coffee. 30 minutes. Near your schedule, wherever works. Why? The question was direct, deserved a direct answer. Because you left to pick up your son, he said. And didn't explain why, you just went. That's what parents do. I know, but most people explain first. Ask for understanding, build context. I didn't have time for context. Exactly, Robert said. Megan laughed once, short. That's a weird reason to want coffee. Probably. Okay, fine. Monday. There's a place near the nonprofit where I work. 7:30 in the morning. Before my shift. Send me the address. Mr. Collins. Robert, I don't need help. I'm not asking for anything. I know. Good. Monday then. She ended the call. Robert stood at his window. The harbor spread out below, Sunday sailboats moving slowly through November cold. He'd just used his foundation to manufacture a coffee meeting with a woman whose last name, Doyle, he'd learned only because she'd introduced herself on the phone. This wasn't strategy, wasn't calculated. The Singapore proposal still sat unsigned. The foundation board met Tuesday afternoon. Robert presented the Staten Island initiative, expanded after-school programming, tutoring, arts, athletics, 3-year commitment, measurable outcomes, community partnership model. Michael Chen, the CFO, raised his hand. This is outside our normal portfolio. Correct. What's the strategic rationale? Underserved population, high potential return on educational investment. That applies to 100 areas. Why Staten Island specifically? Robert met his eyes. Because I asked someone who knows better than we do what actually matters. The room stayed quiet. Motion to approve, said Patricia Ross, the board chair. 7 hands went up, 1 abstention. Approved, Patricia said. Robert, you'll lead implementation personally? Yes. Unusual for you. Correct. After the meeting, Patricia caught him in the hall. What's actually going on? Educational initiative. You voted for it. Robert, I've known you 18 years. You don't do ground-level work. Maybe that's the problem. She tilted her head. Is this about someone? It's about education. Sure. She didn't believe him. Just be careful. Personal motivations make for complicated board reports. Wednesday morning, Robert toured PS 47 with Principal Martinez. The building was old, maintained but tired. Classrooms overcrowded, library understocked. We appreciate any support, Martinez said. But I'll be honest, we've had donors before. They come, they tour, they promise things, then we never hear from them again. I signed a 3-year commitment yesterday. People sign things. I keep commitments. Martinez stopped walking. Good, because these kids don't need another adult making promises they don't keep. They entered a hallway. Between classes, students moved quickly, practiced efficiency, no wasted time. A boy bumped into him, maybe 11, carrying too many books. "Sorry, sir." "It's fine." The boy looked up, paused. "You're the donor guy?" "I'm Robert Collins." "Connor Doyle." The boy adjusted his books. "My mom said you might actually show up." Robert's hand stopped moving. "Your mother works here?" "No. She works at the community center on 4th and nights at the hospital, but she volunteers here sometimes." Connor glanced at Principal Martinez. "I should get to class." "Go ahead," Martinez said. Connor left, already late, walking fast but not running. Robert watched him disappear into a classroom. They finished the tour. Martinez's office, cramped, organized, walls covered with student artwork and testing schedules. "What we actually need," Martinez said, "is consistent support, not flashy, boring stuff. Tutoring that happens every week, programs that run year-round, adults who show up. That's what I'm offering." "Then we have a deal, Mr. Collins." Walking to his car, Robert passed the gymnasium. Through the window, he saw Connor shooting baskets alone. The boy made 3 in a row, missed the 4th, retrieved the ball himself. No celebration, no frustration, just continued practice. Robert's driver opened the door. "Change of plans," Robert said. "I'm walking." Sir?" "I'll catch a cab." He walked. Staten Island streets, working neighborhoods, people heading home from shift work or heading to it. He ended up at the community center on 4th. Small building, worn but clean. Megan sat at the front desk, typing on an ancient computer. She looked up, saw him, her jaw tightened. "Mr. Collins?" "Robert, what are you doing here?" "I just toured PS 47, met your son." Her shoulders pulled back, protective. "And?" "He seems like a good kid." "He is. Principal Martinez speaks highly of you." "That's nice." Megan's hands stayed on the keyboard, not typing. "Did you need something?" "I wanted you to know, the board approved the initiative. 3 years. Committed funding, starting next month." "That's good. The school needs it. Connor needs it." Well, Connor has what he needs. Direct, firm. "We're fine." There it was again. Practiced phrase. Instant delivery. Robert nodded. "I'm sure you are." "Mr. Collins?" "Robert, I appreciate what you're doing for the school. Really. But I need you to understand something." She finally stopped pretending to type. "My son and I, we're not a cause. We're not a story you tell at fundraisers." "I don't tell stories at fundraisers. Everyone tells stories." "Not about you." She studied him. "Why education? Really?" The same question from coffee. Robert still didn't have a clean answer. "Because you left to pick up your son," he said. "And you didn't ask me to understand. You didn't explain why I should care. You just went." "So?" "So most people negotiate. Most people build context first." Robert paused. "You didn't. You just acted, like the decision was obvious." "It was obvious. To you." Megan leaned back in her chair. "Mr. Collins, are you having some kind of crisis?" "Maybe. Probably. I'm just trying to do something useful," he said instead. "Then do it for the school, not for us." "Understood." He turned to leave. "Robert." Megan's voice stopped him. "Connor comes home at 3:30 most days. If you're going to be at the school regularly, he'll probably see you. That's fine. But don't make promises you can't keep. He's had enough of those." "I don't make promises I can't keep." Everyone says that too. Fair." By the time Robert reached his apartment, the Foundation's PR team had already drafted a press release. He read it twice. Well-written, strategic, perfectly positioned. He deleted it, sent a one-line email. No press release, no publicity, quiet implementation only. His PR director responded. "That's unusual." Robert didn't respond. He stood at his window, harbor view. Boats moving slowly. Connor's face kept appearing in his mind, the boy's careful organization, his immediate apology, the practiced efficiency. Robert had just committed $3 million in 3 years, primarily because a woman refused his help, and a boy walked efficiently. This wasn't strategy, and retreat was no longer possible. January brought cold that felt personal. Robert spent 3 days a week at PS7, more than any board member questioned but all noticed. The after-school programs launched. Tutoring in math and English. Art room reopened. Basketball programs starting February. Robert attended the opening assembly. 200 students in a gymnasium that smelled like old wood and new possibilities. Principal Martinez spoke about opportunity and consistency, about adults showing up. The students listened with practiced attention. Not excitement, not cynicism, just presence. Connor sat 3 rows back. Made eye contact once, nodded slightly. After assembly, parents volunteered for various programs, registration tables, schedule coordination, permission slips. Megan worked the math tutoring table. Robert hadn't known she'd be there. He approached. Need help? She looked up. You volunteer at registration tables? Apparently. This should be interesting. For 2 hours, they sorted paperwork. Megan knew every parent by name, knew their kids, knew their schedules. Robert followed her lead, mostly silent. A woman approached, late 30s, tired smile. Megan, is this program really free? Completely free. 4 days a week, 3:30 to 5. And they'll help with homework? Yes. The woman's shoulders dropped slightly. Thank God. I've been trying to help Marcus with fractions and I'm just making it worse. You're not making anything worse, Megan said quietly. You're working 2 shifts. You're doing exactly what you can. The woman signed the form, left. Next parent approached. During a brief pause, Megan glanced at him. You're not saying much. I'm learning. What are you learning? That I don't know anything about this. At least you're honest. By 4:30, 78 students were registered. The art program was full. Basketball had a waiting list. Martinez approached as they packed up. Good turnout. After Martinez left, Megan finished organizing forms. Robert tried to help, just move things she'd already organized. You can stop, Megan said. I've got it. Sorry, she smiled slightly. You're really not good at this, are you? At what? Not being in charge. Probably not. Connor appeared, backpack too full. Mom, I'm ready. Hey, baby, give me 2 minutes. Connor noticed Robert. Hey, Mr. Collins. Hey, Connor, you're still coming to school? Looks like it. Cool. Connor paused. Can I ask you something? Sure. Why do markets go up when news is bad sometimes? Megan made a small sound. Connor, you can't just... It's fine. Robert looked at the boy. Markets aren't about news. They're about what people expect versus what actually happens. Sometimes bad news is better than what everyone feared, so relief becomes profit. Connor processed this, so it's about surprise? Mostly. That's weird. Very. Connor nodded, satisfied. Turned to his mother. Can we get pizza? We can get pizza. They left together. Megan didn't say goodbye to Robert. On the drive back to Manhattan, Robert's phone buzzed. His assistant, Michael Chen, called twice, wants to discuss Q1 projections. Robert typed, schedule Monday. Another text, Singapore partnership needs final signature by Wednesday. Robert put his phone down without responding. That evening, Robert attended a gallery opening in Chelsea. Someone's wife cornered him. Robert, I heard about your school project. That's so generous. And it's just funding. Still, most people at your level don't bother with public schools. Maybe they should. She laughed, thought he was joking. He wasn't. By 9, Robert left early, walked the 15 blocks home. The Singapore contract sat on his desk, still unsigned. His phone buzzed. Michael Chen, need to discuss your schedule. Foundation work taking significant time. Robert didn't respond. Another text, Patricia Ross. Board members noticing your shift in focus. Also didn't respond. For the first time in decades, Robert's attention was genuinely divided. And the dividing started the moment Megan said, Your blind date didn't show up either? March arrived with unexpected warmth. The programs had been running 8 weeks, attendance consistent, test scores improving incrementally. The school hosted a celebration, quarterly milestone, student presentations, media invited despite Robert's objections. These kids deserve recognition, Martinez said. Robert couldn't argue. The event started at 5. Gymnasium decorated, students' artwork displayed, parents arriving in work clothes. Robert stood near the back, tried to be invisible. Megan appeared beside him. You hiding? Observing. Sure. She wore the same careful dress from the restaurant months ago. Connor's presenting tonight. His essay got selected for district competition. That's good. It's really good. Pride evident. He worked hard. Martinez took the microphone, welcomed everyone, thanked the foundation, the teachers, the parents. Then Connor walked to the front. The boy looked nervous, held his paper too tight. My essay is called What Responsibility Means. Robert's attention sharpened. Connor read, Most people think responsibility is following rules. Do your homework, clean your room, don't talk back, but that's not really it. His voice steadied. Responsibility is what you do when nobody's checking, when nobody's making you, when it would be easier not to. Megan's hand moved to her chest, small gesture, unconscious. My mom taught me this, not by telling me, by how she lives. Connor looked up from his paper, found his mother. She works 2 jobs, One at the community center during the day, another at the hospital at night. She's always tired. But she never complains. She never asks for help. She just does what needs doing. The gymnasium stayed quiet. When I was younger, I asked her why she works so much. She said, "Because taking care of you isn't something I get to decide about. It's what being your mother means." Connor's voice caught slightly, pushed through. Responsibility means showing up. Every time, even when you're exhausted, even when nobody would blame you for not showing up, you just do it. Because that's what love looks like when it's real. He paused. Someone asked me once what I learned from meeting successful people through this program. I said, I learned my mom was already successful. I just didn't have the right words for it yet. Connor stepped back from the microphone. The gymnasium erupted. Parents standing, applauding. Teachers wiping eyes. Megan stood frozen, tears running down her face, no attempt to hide them. Robert stood very still. His hands opened, closed. The applause continued. Connor returned to his seat, embarrassed. After the formal program, parents mingled. Food appeared, donated, community coordinated, potluck celebration. Robert found himself holding a paper plate he didn't remember accepting. Megan approached, eyes still red but composed. "That was something," she said quietly. "He's a remarkable kid." "He is." She looked across the gymnasium, found Connor laughing. "I had no idea he was writing about me." He sees you clearly." "Maybe too clearly," she turned back. "Thank you for all of this. The programs, the support, it's making a real difference. I'm just funding it. You're here? That's more than funding." They stood in comfortable silence. "Can I ask you something?" Megan said. "Sure. Why are you really doing this? And don't say it's about education." "Those are good answers, but they're not your answer." Robert looked at her directly. "Because you left to pick up your son. And I spent the next 3 months trying to understand what that meant." "What did it mean?" "That you have something I eliminated a long time ago." "What's that?" "I don't know yet, but I'm trying to figure it out." Megan studied his face. "That's the most honest thing you've said to me." "Probably." Connor appeared, still buzzed. "Mom, can we stay longer? Everyone's doing basketball." "Sure, baby. Another hour." Connor ran off. "Coffee?" Megan asked Robert. "There's decent coffee, surprisingly." "Okay." And they moved to the refreshment table, poured 2 cups, walked to the gymnasium entrance, less crowded. "Connor never knew his father," Megan said suddenly. "He died when Connor was 6. Heart attack, completely unexpected." Robert said nothing, just listened. "Everyone told me I needed to be strong. For Connor, for myself. So I was. I got 2 jobs. I kept us housed, fed, functioning." She sipped her coffee. "But I don't know if I taught him responsibility or just exhaustion." "He sees you," Robert said. "That's what the essay said." "Maybe." She smiled slightly. "Or maybe he's just a good writer." Evening light faded, March cold returning. "I should probably go," Robert said, though he didn't move. "Probably," Megan agreed, also not moving. A parent passed them. "You two make a good team." The words hung awkward. Megan's expression shifted. Not dramatically, just a subtle closing. "I should check on Connor," she said. She left before Robert could respond. He stood alone. The celebration continued inside. Connor's laugh carried across the gymnasium. Robert left quietly. On the drive back, Robert's phone buzzed continuously. Work messages, partnership updates, board inquiries. He ignored all of it. Connor's essay kept replaying. "I learned my mom was already successful." Past tense. Already successful, not becoming, not working toward, already there. Robert had spent 8 weeks, $3 million, countless hours trying to help Megan and Connor improve. But Connor's essay made something clear. They weren't broken. They weren't lacking. They were already whole. And Robert was the one who didn't understand what success meant. The school newsletter arrived Tuesday. Photos from the celebration. One photo showed Robert, Megan, and Connor together. Caption: "Community partnership success." By Thursday, Megan requested a meeting. Brief email: "Need to discuss something." Friday afternoon, Robert arrived at PS 47 at 3:30. Megan waited outside. "Thanks for coming," she said. "Careful. Can we walk?" They walked. Residential streets, working class quiet. Megan didn't speak for 2 blocks. Finally, "The newsletter photo, you saw it?" "Yes." "People are talking." Robert stopped walking. "What kind of talking?" "The kind that happens in small communities, about who's with who, about motives, and the foundation." "I know, the foundation is legitimate, but people don't see programs. They see you and me in photos together. They connect dots that aren't connected." Wind picked up. Megan pulled her coat tighter. "Some parents think you're generous. Some think I'm using Connor to get close to you." Robert's hand stopped moving. That's not... I know it's not. You know it's not. But it doesn't matter what we know. It matters what people assume. They started walking again. At pickup yesterday, Megan continued, another mother asked if you and I were dating. When I said no, she looked at me like I was lying. Connor's essay had nothing to do with... I know that. But once people start making assumptions, facts don't matter. The story matters. They reached a small park. Empty playground. Cold evening. Megan sat on a bench. Robert stood. I told you once, she said, that your attention was creating problems I didn't have before. This is what I meant. In your world, visibility is credibility. In mine, visibility is vulnerability. I can fix this. How? Release a statement. That makes it worse. Back away. Everyone assumes we had a falling out. Stay involved. The assumptions continue. She looked up at him. There's no clean solution, Robert, because the problem isn't what we did. The problem is who you are and who I am and the fact that those worlds don't mix without cost. I never wanted to create problems for you. I know, but intentions don't change consequences. Playground swings moved in wind. Somewhere a car alarm went off, then stopped. I need you to understand something, Megan said quietly. Everything I've built with Connor, our life, our stability, our reputation, it's fragile. If that respect turns to judgment, she stopped. I can't afford that. Robert sat down. What if I back away completely? Then Connor asks why, and I explain that your presence costs us, and he learns that doing the right thing makes things worse. So what do I do? Megan looked at him. I don't know. I really don't. They sat for 15 more minutes, not talking, just cold and confused. Finally, Megan stood. I need to pick up Connor. Robert stood too. Megan, I'm sorry. I know you are. But, sorry, doesn't fix this. She walked away, didn't look back. Robert stood alone in the empty playground. His car arrived. On the drive back, Robert tried to construct solutions, press statements, clarifications. Board oversight. Every option made things worse. By the time he reached his apartment, Robert understood. His competence was domain-specific. His professional tools were useless here, worse than useless. He'd tried to help, deployed resources correctly, and created damage anyway. Robert stood at his window, harbor view, boats moving through dark water. His phone buzzed. Michael Chen. Board members concerned. Dinner meeting Monday. Patricia Ross. We should talk before Monday. His assistant. Singapore partnership deadline extended. Requesting explanation. Robert set his phone face down. For the first time in his professional life, he didn't have answers. Didn't have strategy. Just uncomfortable recognition that every instinct he'd trusted for 25 years had failed when it mattered most. Robert withdrew from PS47. Scheduling conflicts. That's what he told Martinez. The programs continued. Foundation funding stayed committed. Everything proceeding as designed. Robert returned to normal. Markets opening, deals closing, board meetings every Thursday. Tuesday morning, he closed the biotech position. 8% above target. His team sent congratulations. He deleted them without reading. Wednesday, partnership review. Singapore deal performing exactly as projected. 3 years of negotiation validated. Robert signed the quarterly report. His hand moved automatically. Thursday, board meeting. Someone asked about his increased availability. The education initiative has stabilized, he said. Remote oversight is sufficient now. Patricia nodded. Everyone nodded. The meeting ended at 11. Robert had lunch scheduled. Client from London, prime steakhouse, deal discussion. He canceled it. Went back to his office. Closed the door. His assistant knocked at 3. Your 4 o'clock called. Running 15 minutes late. Cancel it. Sir? Cancel everything today. Silence. Then, of course. Robert sat at his desk, opened his laptop, market reports, portfolio updates, partnership proposals requiring review. Closed the laptop, stood, walked to the window, harbor view. Same view. 22 years, same office, same window. He stood there until his assistant left at 6, didn't move. Friday, Robert arrived at 7, left at 7, spoke to no one, signed nothing. His assistant sent an email. Are you feeling all right? He didn't respond. Saturday morning, Connor's thank you note arrived. School requirement. All donors received one. Robert opened it at his kitchen counter, read it standing. Dear Mr. Collins, thank you for funding our after-school programs. I really like the math tutoring. It's helping me understand fractions better. My mom says you're probably very busy. I understand. Running a foundation must take a lot of time. I wanted you to know that I appreciated when you explained about markets and surprise. That made sense to me. I think about it sometimes when things don't work the way I expect. Thank you again. Connor Doyle. Robert set the note down. My mom says you're probably very busy. I understand. He left it on the counter, walked to his bedroom, sat on the bed, didn't lie down, just sat. The phone rang. He didn't check who. Rang again, stopped. Saturday passed. Sunday morning, Robert's phone showed 6 missed calls, 4 texts, 2 voicemails. He silenced it, made coffee, didn't drink it, stood at the living room window. Different window, same harbor. The coffee went cold on the counter. By Sunday evening, Robert had eaten nothing since Friday lunch. Not intentionally, not avoiding food, just hadn't. Monday morning, his alarm went off. He turned it off. Didn't get up, lay in bed, eyes open, ceiling white and flat. His phone buzzed. Board meeting starting in an hour. He didn't move. Buzzed again. His assistant, Robert, everything okay? Didn't respond. The meeting happened without him. First time in 18 years. Tuesday. Robert got up, showered, dressed, sat in his living room. Didn't turn on the TV, didn't open his laptop, just sat. His assistant called. Robert, people are concerned. I'm fine. You missed yesterday's board meeting. I know. Should I reschedule? No. What should I tell them? Robert looked at his hands. Clean, manicured, completely useless. I don't know. He ended the call. Wednesday. Markets opened. Robert's portfolio moved. Algorithms running, positions adjusting, everything automatic. He didn't check once. His refrigerator hummed. The harbor view remained perfect. His apartment stayed exactly as designed. Robert sat in the same chair, same position. Connor's note was still on the kitchen counter. Thursday. Patricia Ross appeared at his door. Building security let her up. She knocked, waited, knocked again. Robert, I know you're in there. He opened the door. She looked at him. Jesus Christ, when did you last eat? I don't know. Can I come in? He stepped aside. Patricia walked to his kitchen, opened his refrigerator. You have nothing in here. I know. Robert, what's happening? Nothing. That's not true. He sat on the couch. She sat across from him. The board is worried, she said. You've missed 2 meetings. You're not responding to emails. The fund is fine. Performance is optimal. I'm not asking about the fund. Robert looked at her. Then what are you asking? What happened at that school? Nothing happened. Something happened. He didn't respond. Patricia waited. 3 minutes. 5. Finally. Okay. I'm going to make you eat something. Then I'm leaving. But I'm coming back tomorrow. She ordered food. Sat with him while it arrived. Made him eat half a sandwich. Then left. Robert threw the rest away. Friday, 1 week since withdrawal. Robert hadn't checked markets in 6 days. Hadn't read email. Hadn't signed anything. His assistant sent a message. Singapore partnership requesting confirmation call. Urgent. He didn't respond. Another message. Michael Chin needs Q2 projections. Didn't respond. Another. Board scheduling emergency review Monday. Your attendance required. Robert turned his phone off. Sat in his living room until dark. Connor's note was still on the counter. Still there. Words unchanged. I understand. Saturday morning. Robert stood at his bedroom window. Different angle, same water. Sunrise happened. Colors changed. Light moved across buildings. He watched all of it. Registered none of it. His phone, still off, sat on the dresser. The Singapore partnership was waiting. The board was convening emergency review. His assistant had probably escalated to HR. None of it mattered. Not because Robert didn't care about his career. Because standing in this window, watching water move through harbor channels, recognizing that sunrise looked identical today as yesterday, as 10 years ago. He'd spent 25 years building this exact life. This silence, this control, this perfect isolation. And he'd called it success. The sun finished rising. Harbor traffic increased. Boats moved in patterns he recognized. Robert turned away from the window, looked at his apartment. Architectural Digest, page 43, 18 months ago. Minimalist luxury, a study in restraint. Every surface clean, every angle deliberate, every object placed for maximum aesthetic efficiency. Nothing lived in, nothing used, nothing real. He walked to the kitchen. Connor's note was exactly where he'd left it. Picked it up, read it again. I understand. And the boy understood that Robert was busy, that running foundations took time, that important people had important obligations. Connor understood. And that understanding was worse than anger, worse than disappointment, because Connor was right. Robert was busy, with markets and boards and portfolios and partnerships, busy building power through systematic elimination of everything that mattered. He set the note down, looked around his apartment one more time. This was it. This was what 25 years of discipline created. Professional mastery, financial security, complete control, complete absence. Robert sat at his kitchen counter, Connor's note visible. Harbor view visible. Success visible in every expensive surface, and nothing else. He'd eliminated variables, optimized for efficiency, Built empire on removal of dependency, and he was completely alone. Not circumstantially, structurally, by design, his design. Robert sat there until Sunday morning. Same position, didn't sleep, didn't move much, just sat with it. The weight of 25 years of intentional absence, and no framework for undoing it. April arrived cold. Robert attended the district education presentation. Public event, anyone could attend. He sat in the back, tried to be invisible. The auditorium filled slowly. Parents, teachers, students. Connor's essay had been selected for district competition. Principal Martinez welcomed everyone, introduced judges, explained process. Connor walked to the front third, same nervous energy, same too tight grip on his paper. He read the essay Robert had heard before, about responsibility, about his mother. The same words hit differently now. Responsibility means showing up every time, even when you're exhausted, even when nobody would blame you for not showing up. Robert sat very still. Connor reached the ending. I learned my mom was already successful. I just didn't have the right words for it yet. The auditorium applauded. Connor took second place. Certificate presented, proud smile, returned to his seat beside his mother. Robert stayed through the other presentations. After the formal program ended, people mingled. Robert stayed seated, watched Megan congratulate her son, watched them interact. Easy, natural, genuine connection, built through years of consistent presence. Watched what he'd eliminated. Finally, Robert stood, approached Principal Martinez. Principal Martinez, could I schedule a brief meeting with you and Mrs. Doyle? Whenever works for her schedule. Martinez studied him. What's this about? Something I need to say. Properly. I'll ask. 2 days later, Robert sat in Martinez's office. Megan arrived exactly on time. She sat carefully. Principal Martinez said you wanted to talk. Yes. Robert looked at her directly. I need to tell you something and apologize. Megan waited. Connor's essay made me realize something I've been getting wrong. About everything. What do you mean? I came to PS07 thinking I was helping. Providing resources, creating opportunities. He paused. But that's not what happened. The programs are helping. The programs are fine. I'm talking about me, about why I really got involved. Megan's face stayed neutral, waiting. I got involved because you left to pick up your son, because you didn't ask for help, because you had something I couldn't categorize. Robert stopped, started again. I thought I was helping you, but what I actually needed was to understand what you already had. What's that? I don't know what to call it. Presence, maybe. Purpose. The ability to care about something beyond metrics. Silence filled the small office. Connor's essay said you were already successful, Robert continued. He was right. You raised a kid who understands responsibility at 11, who sees his mother clearly, who has character that can't be purchased. Okay, Megan said carefully. I spent 25 years becoming very good at my job, making money, closing deals, and I eliminated everything else. Every relationship, every connection, every moment of actual presence. He looked at her. I thought that was discipline. Connor's essay made me realize it was just absence. Megan studied him. Why are you telling me this? Because I owe you an apology. I came into your life, into Connor's life, with good intentions, but I was operating from a completely wrong framework. I thought you needed help. What I actually needed was to learn from you. Learn what? How to show up. How to be present without transaction. How to care about something beyond what it returns. Megan leaned back slightly. Robert, that's honest, but I don't know what you want me to say. I don't want you to say anything. I just needed to be clear. You weren't the one who needed help. I was. I still am. Long pause. I don't know how to do this, Robert continued. Be present without leverage. Connect without controlling. But I want to learn, if you're willing to teach me. Megan's face changed. Not softening exactly, but opening slightly. Robert, I'm not a teacher. I'm just a mother, working 2 jobs. That's exactly what makes you qualified. She almost smiled. That's a weird compliment. It's the truth. They sat in silence. Martinez's office clock ticked. Outside, students passed, voices, laughter, normal afternoon energy. You can't fix this with a meeting, Megan said finally, or with a good apology. I know. Do you? I'm starting to. Megan looked at him for a long moment, deciding something. Okay, she said. Here's what I need to know. What do you actually want? Robert took a breath. I want what Connor has. What's that? I want to be someone who knows what responsibility means. Not in markets, in life. I want to learn how to be present, how to show up consistently. That's hard. I know. And you might not be good at it. Probably not. And it won't feel like success. Not by any measure you're used to. I understand. Megan nodded slowly. Okay, but no shortcuts. No using wealth to bypass discomfort. Agreed. And if you realize you don't actually want this, if it gets uncomfortable and you decide it's not worth it, you tell me directly. You don't just disappear. I won't disappear. Everyone says that. I know, but I'm saying it anyway. She studied him again. Finally. We'll see. That's fair. Megan stood. I need to pick up Connor from tutoring. Can I? Robert stopped. Can I walk with you, just to the program? Just showing up? Yes. Okay, but this doesn't fix everything. I know. They walked together through the school, hallways busy with after-school programs. Connor emerged from math tutoring, saw them together. Surprise, confusion, careful neutrality. Hey, Mr. Collins. Hey, Connor. Congratulations on second place. Thanks. The boy looked between them. Mr. Collins and I were just talking, Megan said, about the programs. Oh, cool. They walked toward the exit, Connor between them. Outside, April cold felt less harsh, spring trying to arrive. This is us, Megan said, gesturing toward the bus stop. Okay. Robert. She looked at him. Show up. Consistently, without expecting anything back. If you can do that, we'll talk again. I can do that. We'll see. She and Connor walked toward the bus stop. Robert watched them go. Life continuing with or without his presence, his car waited. On the drive back, Robert's phone stayed silent. No crisis, no emergency, just quiet. Different quiet now. The car hummed. His phone dark in his hand. Tomorrow he'd show up at 3:15, coach basketball. Be present, not void anymore, just quiet with purpose. 3 months later, Robert arrived at PS 47 at 3:15 on Tuesday. Basketball program, volunteer assistant coach. 4th week consecutive. Connor's team practiced free throws. Robert rebounded, passed balls back, offered occasional correction. Elbow in, Connor. Follow through. Connor adjusted. Sank 3 in a row. Better, Robert said. Thanks, coach. Not Mr. Collins anymore. Just coach. Practice ended at 4:30. Robert stayed to help pack equipment. Megan appeared around 5. Still in work clothes, exhausted but present. How was practice? Good, Connor said. I'm getting better at free throws. That's great, baby. She looked at Robert. Thanks for coaching. No problem. And you coming to the game Saturday? Planning on it. Okay, good. Simple exchange, no subtext. Just logistics. Connor ran ahead to get his backpack. Megan and Robert walked slowly behind. You've been consistent, she said. 3 months, every Tuesday and Thursday. Saturday games. That's what you asked for. It is. She paused. I'm noticing. Good. They reached the main entrance. April had finally delivered. Warm evening, light lasting longer. We usually grab pizza after Saturday games, Megan said carefully. If you wanted to join. I'd like that. Okay, but it's not fancy pizza. That's perfect. Connor reappeared. Ready, Mom. Ready. They walked toward the bus stop. Robert walked toward his car. Different directions, but not distant anymore. Saturday morning, Connor's team won by 3. Connor scored 8, including 2 free throws that mattered. After the game, they went to Angelo's, cramped pizzeria, Formica tables. Connor ordered pepperoni. Megan got a salad. Robert ordered a slice and actually ate it. Connor talked about the game, about strategy, about his teammate who kept traveling, about the referee's questionable call. Normal kid conversation. Robert just listened. You played well, Robert said when Connor paused. Thanks. Free throws helped. They did. Megan smiled at her son. I'm proud of you. Thanks, Mom. They ate. Talked about nothing important, made plans for next practice. An hour passed, then they left together. Outside Angelo's, standing in spring afternoon warmth. Same time Tuesday? Robert asked. Same time, Megan confirmed. Good. Connor ran ahead slightly. Megan called him back. He returned, stood between them. You're coming to stuff more now, Connor observed. I am. That's cool. Thanks. Just don't disappear again, okay? Mom was sad when you left. Connor, Megan started. I won't disappear, Robert said, looking at Megan. I promise. Okay. Connor accepted this immediately. Can I get ice cream? We just had pizza, Megan said. But we won. Fair point. She looked at Robert. You want ice cream? Sure. They walked toward the ice cream shop 2 blocks over, Connor between them, talking about summer plans, about next season's basketball. Normal afternoon, normal conversation, normal family moment. Nothing dramatic, just 3 people showing up consistently. At the ice cream shop, Connor ordered chocolate. Megan got nothing. Robert got vanilla. They sat outside. Spring sun warm. People passing. Neighborhood alive with Saturday energy. "I should tell you something," Megan said. "I got promoted at the community center. Full-time position with benefits." "That's great," Robert said. "I'm dropping my hospital shifts. Just working days now." "That's really great." "Yeah," she smiled. "Feels almost like normal life." Connor wasn't paying attention, focused on ice cream. "It means I have more time," Megan continued. "For Connor, for myself, for—" She paused. "For other things." "Good." They sat in comfortable silence. Eventually, Connor finished. They threw away cups. "Walk us to the bus?" Megan asked. "Sure." They walked. 3 blocks, easy pace. Connor ran ahead, returned, ran ahead again. At the bus stop, they waited. Number 47 pulled up within 5 minutes. "Tuesday," Megan confirmed. "Tuesday," Robert agreed. Connor waved. "Bye, coach." "Bye, Connor." They boarded, found seats. Waved through the window as the bus pulled away. Robert stood alone at the empty stop. His car was parked at the school. 15-minute walk. He walked slowly. No rush. His phone buzzed once. Partnership update. Could wait. Put it away. Thought about Connor's game. About pizza at Angelo's. About ice cream and afternoon sunlight. And Megan's careful mention of having more time. Small moments. Nothing significant by old metrics. Everything significant by new understanding. Robert reached his car. Driver waiting. "Home, sir?" Robert checked his watch. 4 o'clock, Saturday afternoon. "Actually, just drive around for a bit. I'm not ready to go back yet." "Of course." They drove through Staten Island. Working neighborhoods, families outside, kids playing basketball. Robert's apartment waited in Manhattan. Harbor view, architectural perfection. But it wasn't home anymore. Home was becoming somewhere else. Slowly. Through showing up consistently. Through learning what Connor already knew. That success means being present when it matters. The car moved through afternoon traffic. Robert watched neighborhoods pass. Tuesday, he'd show up at 3:15, same as always now. Coach basketball. Help Connor with free throws. Talk to Megan about logistics in life. Nothing dramatic. Just presence as practice. The car eventually turned toward Manhattan. Evening descending. Robert's phone buzzed again. Board meeting reminder. Quarterly review approaching. Professional life continuing, successful by every metric, but no longer his only metric. By the time Robert reached his apartment, evening had become night. Harbor lights reflected on dark water. He stood at his window. Same position he'd stood hundreds of times before. Same view, different person seeing it. Robert had spent 25 years building power through absence, through systematic elimination of everything that couldn't be quantified or controlled. He was learning, slowly, how to build something else. How to build family through presence. Not perfectly, not quickly, just by showing up, consistently, just by caring about something beyond what it provided back. The harbor spread dark below. Robert's phone showed Connor's basketball schedule for next month. Megan's work number, Angelo's pizza saved in favorites, small details that meant everything. He'd lost nothing that actually mattered, and gained something he'd never known was possible. Tuesday would come. He'd show up at 3:15. Same as last week, same as next week. Just presence, practice daily. Just learning what responsibility actually meant.